Yeah, yeah. We just chillin' and vibing. Good conversations with good people. Oh, good conversations with good people. Yeah, yeah.
Yo, 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 this your boy Larry and Mr. GVO, and we chilling and vibing with Miss Dr. Rachelle Shephard. How you doing?
Good. What's up, y'all?
How you doing? How you doing? How you doing?
Good.
So, Doctor, where you from?
I am from Orangeburg, South Carolina, better known as the Burg.
I give you that. I give you
That's
that. I give
right.
you
That's
that. I
right.
give you that.
Repping all day.
Right. So, Doc. So, who is Dr. Rochelle outside of the scrubs? In the white jacket. You know.
She's just a cool, laid back person. She loves her family. She loves church. She loves giving back. She loves paying patronage to the people who help her get here. So just a laid back, individual.
So, Doc, what made you want to take that journey into nursing?
Wow. I've been asked this question a lot. Honestly, it was some circumstances. My mom got sick when I was very young. Actually, I was 11 and a half, and she suffered a stroke in front of me. And I just felt helpless. I didn't know what was happening. I didn't know how to help her. And my older brother at the time, who was at the house with me, he immediately took her to the hospital. And I'm like, what happened? Like, what just happened before me? And so when she went to the hospital, she was diagnosed with a stroke, and she came back out of the hospital, a lengthy stay actually. She had to learn how to walk again, how to talk again. And that's really when my interest in healthcare really started. Like, I wanted to know what happened, and if it was something, if anything, that I could do to stop that from happening to her or possibly other people. So from that one incident, that's what kind of got the ball to rolling in my head, even before high school. Like, I think I need to do something in healthcare.
So, you've been in the game for 20 years.
22 years to be
20 plus
exact. Uh,
years.
Well, 22 years as a nurse, and I have been in healthcare since 2000. So 25 years total in healthcare, 22 years as a nursing professional.
It doesn't, I don't see that. Hey,
Yeah. So I'm an
keep,
OG.
keep drinking that water, man, lady.
That's what I'm gonna do.
So, what memory that you still stick with you after them 20 plus years?
I remember when because I started off as a CNA, a certified nursing assistant. And then I got the courage to go back to become an LPN, a licensed practical nurse. And I was working at this nursing home at the time. And I had a nurse, say to me, you know, you can never do what I can do. She was an RN. And I was just like, really? Like, she was like, yeah, you could never do what I do. LPNs are low paid nurses. And she kind of giggled. And in my mind, I'm thinking about, wow, I can't believe this. We're both in the same nursing profession. You're a nurse, I'm a nurse. Yes, our qualifications are different, but we still are supposed to have the same, nurturing skills and care and compassion for the ones that we're taking care of. What, makes you different than me other than initials? And so out of 20 plus years, that has always, stuck in my head, because if she thinks that I can't do something, then in my mind, I'm going to prove you different.
She was
So
drinking that
that was
hater
just
juice.
one of, yeah, she just was like, you can never do this. And I'm like, wow. So that gave me like the motivation to want to keep pushing. to keep going in healthcare.
It's crazy how, people bring each other down instead of lift each other up.
Right. Right.
If your own people, man.
I was like, I'm just sitting here looking at her like, seriously? We're on the same team. At least I felt like we on the same team, but she kind of downplayed me. And yeah, my feelings was hurt. But you know what? As I sit back and think about it now, and at that time, and she still is, she's an associate prepared nurse. I didn't go back and say, you know what? I earned my bachelor's, my master's, and here I am sitting with my doctoral degree. I mean, because guess what? We still on the same team. We still got the same cause. So,
But yeah, I want to
Exactly.
say Happy Nurse Week also. Although we a week late, but we still here. We get
yo,
it in.
this is the last official day. So y'all, we on point.
Oh, happy Nurse Week.
Yeah.
Hey, my
Thank
nana's a
you.
nurse. I got a lot of, well, my exes, a lot of them are nurses. I love me some
But
nurses.
hold on,
So,
how many now? You said my exes.
hey, we're not here for me. We're here for Doc.
Okay, all right,
That's
all
too
right.
much. All right, that's certified. But what inspired you to launch your own healthcare practice, like your own business?
Oh man, I get so like a boost the energy to talk about it because I want to give other people the same motivation that I have. Um, I actually was in my doctoral program, and this is a funny story. Not really, but it is. I was sitting in bed and I was working on one of the hardest assignments ever. I was actually getting prepared for my dissertation. And it was just like, God was like, now's your time. Because I just took a class that I had to actually do a business plan for a company. And so I did the business plan. It was called Shepherd Health LLC. So and I did impeccable on the project itself. And so I'm sitting here in the bed, and it's like, now is your time. And I'm like, time for what? And being obedient to hearing God's word. Like in the middle of the night, my husband was asleep, the kids asleep. I'm up, studying for, my dissertation. And so I just applied for my LLC like 12:30, middle of the night. I applied for it. And as I was doing my business plan, I was thinking about the needs of my community. Because when I did the project itself, I looked at the disparities that were faced, especially in the demographic population. It's so many more chronic diseases that are causing other secondary conditions and even death. And so I was just like reluctant, like I wanted to be able to offer healthcare to people that really didn't have the money to afford healthcare services. So I, built my business off to people that didn't have healthcare insurance or those who couldn't afford to use their insurance, because premiums are high, deductibles are high. And so maybe people can't afford to go to the doctor until they meet their deductible quota. So I, built my company based on wanting to serve others that needed the care but couldn't necessarily afford it.
What was your most rewarding experience as a nurse?
So there's so many personal moments that I can vividly remember, but the most one that sticks out to me is probably taking care of this older Caucasian male. And I was working at the hospital in Orangeburg actually at that time, and I had him several days in a row as a patient. And on the third day, he said to me, he said, you know what? I want to apologize. And I said, for what, sir? He was like, I had, a preconceived thought about you when you, walked in and you were my nurse. He was like, and it was based on the color of your skin. And I was a little shocked that he said that, but he said, say that to say, looking at your skin tone and judging you, and you have given me the best care during my hospital stay. He's like, I requested you every day. I didn't know that at the time. I just thought that, he was just, my nurse manager just assigned him to me, but he requested me. And he said, I just, I really feel ashamed about my feelings toward people of color now. He's like, this experience has really changed my aspect on, persons, especially women of color in nursing. So that's one of the most memorable moments that I've had. That stuck with me for a long time. And he was really, really sick. But that said to me that if he thought it, other people, think it too. They think that because of my skin tone that I may be underqualified, or unqualified. And for him to say, I requested you, that just made a big difference to me.
Yeah, they say about 85% of Caucasian people was born racist. So it's like I can't be mad at your racist. I mean, that's how you live. Same way like how we know how to wash our behind. They don't really know how to wash their behind. So that's how they was raised. So I get it. I get it. You know. But let's go back to the Shepherd Hill.
Yes.
What's the biggest challenge and blessing?
So the challenge is I work for myself part-time. In my business structure and plan, I gave myself 3.5 years to build my clientele up, so that I can potentially work for myself full-time here in the next few years. And so unfortunately it's just me, but the good thing about it is the practice is building up amazingly. I've got a strong amount of patients, new patients actually, and loyal patients. They come back, they refer me to in the community, family, friends. I've had some people actually leave practices that they were with for, X amount of years, come to leave to come with me full time. So it's a blessing, but it's also a curse because it's just me. So I'm a one-man band. It's, I work, I'm the only person. I do have an office manager, but as far as clinician, it's just me. So I feel like it's moving in a very good direction, but here soon I'm gonna have to get more staff members.
What's one thing you've learned over the years about your career that you wish you've learned earlier?
So early on being a nurse, I was younger. So I had those moments like many other young people was, lateness, tardiness, not really being timely. So I think over the years, that's been one of the things that has stuck out with me, especially being in the nursing career, because your patients, they depend on you. If you say you're going to be there, that's what the expectation is. Doc, you said you're going to be there. You scheduled me. I expect you to be there. So over the years, that's one of the biggest things because, when I first got into nursing, everybody was on my time. That's how I felt.
Right.
Um, but over 20 something years, I've learned it's a dependability thing. They depend on you, and if you say something, your word is bond. So you have to make sure you're standing behind your word. Um, People lose trust in you over those things. So just making sure, I'm timely. If I say something, then unless it's something that is just unforeseen, I'm sticking behind what I say.
I like that. Sound like a good leader. Speaking of leader,
Right.
you're a wife, a mother, and a grandma.
And a grandma.
How do you balance being a leader and all that?
Oh my goodness. I just wish I had enough time for every person in my family. Um in my family, I wish I had more work life balance because I work 3 jobs, okay? So I have a full time gig, I work for myself part time, and I teach part time. Um, so in a 5 day week, I'm talking about 60 to 70 hours. So I during the week, my balance is really off. It's really hectic. You know, I have teenagers here. I see them in passing, but I take pride in Sunday is my day. That's family day. Is church and family. So I cook on Sundays. That is the day that all 5 of my kiddos and the grandkids come here. Sunday is my day that I promise that I'm going to listen to how your work week was, you know, what happened exciting, talk to the grandkids, what's going on in school. So Sunday is my wind down day. That is my promise to my family. Um, Mama, grandma gonna cook a big meal. I'm gonna have at least two a macaroni and cheese and a potato salad and a cornbread guaranteed on a
Oh, we eating
Sunday.
good.
We eating good. We sitting down, we talking. That's my family time. So during the week, I will say I wish I had more time, but I got a lot of responsibilities. But the good thing about it is I have a good supportive family. Even when I was going through school, I was going through a divorce, and I was in school full time trying to get my nurse practitioner degree. And my older kids, man, they held the fort down. They did. So supportive. They held the fort down, cooking, cleaning. I worked, I went to school. I had to, get it from the mud, as they say. So I had to put in that footwork, and now I'm in a place that everybody is, you know, they're reaping from the good seeds that I'm sowing. So, but yeah, during the week it's hectic. It is. I just wish I had more arms, more time. But on Sundays, it's me, my house, everybody coming over.
Iman's crazy. What they call it? The new grandmamas now?
Glamour. Yep.
Yeah, I thought you was gonna say that. You talking about Mima?
Then on my personal page, that's what I might be called. Yeah. But
Yeah, 'cause my mama, she don't like to be called grandma. It's always Mimi. I'm like,
yeah.
I let you say that. But I changed my grandmama name for my son. It's Big Mama. I'm trying to bring that back. Yeah, I'm bringing that back. But he keeps saying Gigi. Nah, it's Big Mama. My Big Mama
PG.
gone, but his Big Mama still here. I'm gonna call him Big
Yeah.
Mama. Yeah.
What are the most important skills and qualities you need to be a successful nurse practitioner?
So you got to be a people's person. If you don't like people, this is not your trade. This ain't your field at all.
Nope. It ain't.
Um, you got to be nurturing, you got to be caring. You have to be compassionate. Those are the top characteristics of a great nurse practitioner. Not good. We talking about great. You got some people like they match your energy, but this ain't the profession where that's necessary or even needed. Like, granted, everybody's had a bad experience somewhere in their career. I get it. But some people have bad days, or it could be a condition that they're frustrated about, or they're grieving, they got anxiety. So they got these other stressors that are causing these reactions. So I just try to keep that in mind, but you really got to be a people person. You got to love people. You got to really want to help others. This is not the occupation where, you just coming in for some money, because you're going to get ate up and swallowed. I promise you. And a lot of people, unfortunately, they enter this occupation, for the money. It's in for job security. But you got to love what you do, and it shows. And if you see somebody and they see your energy, they'll tell you quick, you know, this person don't got good bedside skills or manners. I don't want
Right.
to see them no more. And then that tarnishes your name and image.
Mhm.
Yeah. That ain't. I'm not a people person, so I knew this wasn't for me. You know. But let's I'm asking some deep questions. We're gonna go to culture and community. So as a proud Zeta Phi Beta,
Whoop,
finer
whoop,
women, whew, Lord,
whoop, whoop.
how has your sorority shaped the way you serve your community?
So, obviously, Zeta Phi Beta women, we are finer women. We hold ourselves to an exemplary standard.
Mm, mm.
Um, we ain't coming out there fighting. You ain't
No.
gonna see all this cussing, because we really look at how our image is portrayed, and we want to make sure that is being exemplified, in the community. And so, me being a only female in my family, I'm the only girl out of four children. I got three brothers. I'm the only girl and the baby. It was I needed to have that sisterly bond, that sisterly love. You know what I'm saying?
Right,
Like I
right,
got
right.
brothers, they love me, but for them, punching me on the shoulder was love.
Mm. So
That's
you
our.
got to fight.
Oh, absolutely.
I know it. I know it. Ooh, I got brothers. Watch out. Ah!
Absolutely. So my sorority has shaped that finerness in me because I wasn't always, this finer woman. I was tomboyish, so I go out there, fight, play with the fellas. But yeah, so we have this standard about ourselves. We exemplify um, you know, sisterhood. We have solidarity amongst our sorors. So, I think for me, and I've been in my organization for 10 years, it's really molded my mentality as a woman of color, and then just developing a bond with women and women that share the same goals as myself and visions.
So you went from serving the community to traveling the world because I see you all over the place now.
Place, Larry.
So what's been your favorite place you traveled to this year? Because I mean, you've been going all over the place, all over this year. I just see all the photos.
And this year, because all these airplane crashing, so I'm not doing it like I was last year. But so far, like I'm a Pisces, so I love water.
All
So
right.
I love the beach scene. That's just what it is. The beach has just been my thing this year. Um, since I've remarried, me and my husband, we take pride. Like, when I was married, before I was married for 20 years, and I I wasn't afforded the opportunity to go many places. I was a mom, a wife, and I worked meticulously. So I didn't have the opportunity to travel like I do now. So now we take pride at least 4 trips a year. My favorite place so far that we've been is Puerto Rico.
Oh,
Um Beautiful. Oh my
hey,
Rico,
goodness.
come on. Puerto
Beautiful.
Rico.
Puerto Rico.
hey,
Beautiful.
my me. Let me write that on my list. Let me write that. On. Hey, see
Mm.
what you know, Let me write that on my list. Hey, we're going to chill and vibe. Hey, Mr. GVO, you ready? Hey, we we
I've
we
been
we
there,
gonna
bro,
be in
but
Philly.
we
We
can
gonna be
do it
in Philly
again.
this month though. But we got to put Puerto Rico on the list too.
That's on the list. It's a must. It is a must.
You ever went to Costa Rica?
No, that's on my list to go to.
Beautiful water. Beautiful
Okay.
water. Come on now. This one I was in I'm single again. Yeah,
Been there, done that. I completely understand.
oh,
Been
don't
there,
be
done
hurt.
that.
Don't be hurt. I'm a
So
bachelor,
Rochelle,
baby.
being married, give us some advice that you've learned over the years.
Don't give me no advice.
Oh my
No,
goodness.
don't want to hear it.
Oh, you gotta stay connected. Like being coming from a 20-year past marriage, um, I grew up in this relationship, I was young when I got married. So I didn't understand the importance of communication and keeping your relationship alive. Um, we do not go to bed mad at all. If we have a disagreement, that has got to be talked out that night. We are not going to bed angry or upset. And I'll be honest with you, um he's kind of brought that out of me because I was in a relationship where it was okay to go to bed mad. You don't got to talk out your problems. I'm mad and I want to stay mad because I'm right. But in this relationship, we both bring to the table, listen, we can compromise. There's this thing called compromise, and we both take fault in it. And so we talk things out. We do not go to bed mad. Um, if somebody has a suggestion or a idea, then we bring that and we put it to the table. It's so many things that this time around has been different than my first time around. We keep our relationship vibrant. We make sure that we travel together, we pray together, we go to church together. Like that is insane. Like when I say we pray together, we literally pray together. Um, we attend church services together. He's the minister of music at our church. And so the old saying, a family that prays together stays together,
Stay
that is so
together.
true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
So that's my biggest advice. It ain't no, long list. I can't sit here and make up a list for you, Larry. Um, it's just you gotta put in that work. You guys gotta make sure that you're committed because I'm gonna tell you, in any relationship, it's gonna be up and down. But it's just your commitment to, stay in it and to work through whatever you're going through.
You're right, because it's easy to walk away,
Oh, absolutely.
and that's what
Do
a lot
you
of
take
people do.
accountability?
Do I take accountability?
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. I'm
That's right.
stubborn now. I'm stubborn. I'm not gonna tell you no tale. I am. I am
It,
stubborn.
it's hard. It's hard to take accountability, isn't it?
It is,
Like,
but
man,
you
I'm
know
sorry,
what?
man. God, no.
I'm
God,
telling
God.
you, but I'm working on it. Let me say that. But I'm stubborn. But you know what? I am a work in progress. How about that?
And how long you been married with this husband?
We've been married. This will be year 5. August 29th will be year 5. We've been together for 6 years, and we'll be married 5 years this year together.
Oh, he ain't took no time. After 1 year, hey,
Oh,
you mine.
oh,
You mine.
man.
Hey, come on, meet me at the altar. Hey, we going there. We going there.
We ain't getting no younger, so let's just do it. You feel me?
It was
My
it
way.
was a 1 year engagement. It was like, you know what I'm saying? We knew.
They
That's true though.
say,
Like you know, man. Like when you find your person, you know that.
Right. Yeah.
Like you say, like one thing I want to do in my next relationship, I want me and whoever I'm talking to pray together. And I want to
Right.
attend church more too. You got to keep God in your life. And like with me, I
Seriously.
just been working a lot, working a lot, working a lot, trying to
Right.
provide. But I got to give him that time too.
Oh yeah. That's one of the biggest things. Like I've always been spiritual, but I wasn't religious. And there's a difference. And my husband has brought out both the spirituality in me and the religious component, which are both important in your spiritual journey. And so, I mean, I see the difference in adding God, well, putting God first in your relationship.
yep. I'm still working on that. No, I'm talking about relationship. I always got God. But
Oh yeah,
they always say don't always put a timeline on something. But I just feel like if I say I'm gonna wait till my son 18 out the house to settle down and get married because I feel like my son is kind of more important than any female that's gonna mess up my peace, you know, because y'all quick to mess up my peace, and you're done. You're done. I'm sorry, but yeah. Also, it took me a hard breakup just to get back in the church. So it's like I'm still working on that. I want to make sure, because I want to get baptized.
Yeah.
But it's a process. I want to get myself right first for my, future. Well, yeah, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
Right now, we good where we at, hey lady. We good. We ain't
Right.
no marry, no girlfriend. Mm-mm. I like it where we at right now.
Let God lead and direct you. Don't,
Thank you,
like you
thank you.
said, you don't put no time on it. Let him, lead you.
Because I'm more to replacing, not chasing. All right.
You preaching there
But
now?
but
You
like
preaching?
Larry, but like Larry said, man, I'm working. I want to make sure I get everything settled. I don't want to be, how I grew up, ain't really had nothing.
Right.
But I'm gonna make sure I get everything. And she ain't got to worry about stressing bills, none of that, cause I got it.
Right.
Yeah, but no relationship, my lady. No mas. I go
Hey
back to
Doc,
Costa Rica by myself.
hey Doc, if somebody had needed some service from Shepherd's Health, how could they contact you?
So if you can look me up on Facebook, Shepherd Health LLC. You can also find me on Instagram, Shepherd Health LLC. My contact number is 803-766-6311. Or you can go to www.shepherd-health.com. That is www.shepherd-health.com.
Now,
Yes,
if you could write a letter to your younger self back in high school, what would
yes,
you say?
it's gonna be all right. And the reason I say that because I was one of those statistical kids. I was 16 years old when I had my first kid. I was taunted by teachers, by fellow peers, even family members. They counted me out. I had a family member tell me that I'll never amount to nothing because, I was 16. I got pregnant when I was 15. I had my son when I was 16. So then I just felt like, life was over to me, or I started believing what everybody had told me. So if I could go back, I just, and of course I steer that, role, but everything is going to be okay. It's going to be well. Um cuz I worry, walking in a high school with a big belly, my other peers, they're not pregnant. You got your teachers looking at you. You a hot girl. Back in the days you were called, what is it? You were
Hot and
a
ass.
I
hot
don't know.
girl,
Hot and ass.
Amish, yeah, that.
I,
What
I don't
I'm
know,
saying?
no lady.
Hey, he a young boy.
I
He
can't
don't
tell
know
you.
yet.
I
Oh
can't tell you.
man, you was Amish, you was fast, you was hot in the tail. So, I felt bad. I was like, oh my God. I mean, everybody is entitled to a mistake. And at 16, I didn't know what's happening. I just got pregnant. Um, but I tell myself, it's gonna be all right. You steer clear, stay on the road, and everything is gonna be all right.
Being young, well, getting pregnant at a young age, was you afraid that
hmm
that would happen to your sons too? Like they would have a kid at a young age?
I wasn't afraid for my sons, not even my daughter, because I was a strict mom. Seriously, like my first three kids, the older kids, they'll tell you like if they were going someplace outside of me, I had to know who, what, when, where, what time.
Yep. I like my
I was
mama.
strict. I was so strict. Like, so I wasn't even worried about, them messing up because I was right there. When I tell you I was right there, I was right there. My son was in band. I was at, outside waiting on him doing band practice. It wasn't no sneaking and hiding. I was right
Ah,
there.
come on,
Hey man,
Ma.
hey,
Where you going
hey,
with that, man?
hey man, go back to the house, man.
Yeah,
We good.
go on. I'll be there in a minute. God, no. Now, my mom did the same thing to me because, my mom, she was pregnant at 17, but she had me at 18. So it was like, I understand what they went through and, how she was going through in high school because, they told my mama that she wasn't going to be shit and I wasn't going to be shit. But at the end of the day, look where we at.
That's right. That's right.
I
That's
got a whole
right.
degree out here. So I ain't
Right.
worrying about that.
My daughter is 25. She'll be 26. No kids. My oldest son, who is 28, he has, the two children, but, he was well in his 20s before he had his first child. So,
Well, he almost 30. So,
right.
he good. He right there. I ain't even hit there yet. So he good. You feel me? But yeah, Larry, like you said, would you scared if your kids had a baby? Yeah, my mom was the same way too. But she was like, cause when I told her the first time I had my son, I was what 24. She was like, "I know you had 18. I don't give a
Right.
damn.
Right.
I don't give a damn." I was like, "All right, cool, cool, cool." So but yeah, I get what you're saying.
So
Yeah.
being that we talking about
Oh,
that, Mr. GVO, was you
talk to me
nervous?
when I had my son.
Yeah, when you had to tell your mom, like how did that happen, man? We got to talk about you right quick. We got to break it down. We got to skirt on the brakes.
All right, so I don't know. So I got this call. Well, my child mother, and she was crying. I already know what it was. I'm like, "You pregnant?" Yeah. All right. I'll tell you later. I'll call you back. Yeah, I'm in tears. I'm crying. I'm like, oh man, my life is over. What we gonna do? This is when I was living with my mom. So it was like, all right, let me suck it up. I'm going upstairs. I went upstairs. She's sitting down. I'm like, Ma. She gave me that look like, you got somebody pregnant? Yeah. She like, I was like, how did you know? She was like, the way you look. I did the same thing with your granddaddy. I'm like, oh man. But when I was scared to be a father, yeah. Nobody's prepared. So but I needed him though, because I was going through a lot at the time. I was ripping and running, and then boom, my son came in this world, and ever since then I've been calmed down. That's my peace, my pride and joy. That's my best friend. I don't do the same thing I used to do, man. I look at the world different when you have a child. So it's like, yeah, I'm good. So now it's like if I go out, it's rare, you know. Especially my brother. Well, Larry, Quan. My brother having a child next month, so it's like he gonna understand what I'm talking about. Cause he was the same people that were laughing at me when I told him I'm having a baby, and then look what happened. Gotcha. Now you gonna see how I really feel.
Yes.
Who did you tell when you first got pregnant?
That's a good question.
Didn't tell anybody. I didn't even know. I mean, I was 15. I just thought I had a stomach virus. So my mom took me to Family Health Center at the time. And because I had her pick me up from school, I was just so sick. And so we went there and she separated me and my mom. Of course, she, did the pregnancy test and she put my mom in one room and put me in another. And so the doctor came in my room first and she's like, you know what you got? I was like, a stomach virus? Like, what I got? She's like, no, you got a baby. I'm like, what? And so I was just as clueless. Like, I had no idea. I had no idea that it was pregnancy or that it started with a P, nothing. So, she went in the next room and told mom, that I was pregnant, but I didn't get a chance to tell her. I had no idea. None. None.
Oh man, what mom do did, man?
She was flipping out, man. She was like, I can't believe you. Of course, I'm the only girl. Like I said, you a girl, my only girl, and here you are pregnant. Yeah, I mean, I'm learning this just like you. Mom Deuce was, she was upset, but I tell you what, after the dust settled, man, she was right there the whole time when the church folks
Right.
started talking about me, because I was in a choir. Here I am, I'm pregnant, and da da da. My mama she was in defense mode. Like, listen,
That
she
belly
is not
all
the
out.
first, she's not gonna be the last. So,
All I was thinking, now behold the lamb. It's crazy.
So I gotta ask, you being the baby girl, your brothers just ready to go beat him up?
absolutely, absolutely,
So
absolutely.
that was your first husband?
No,
Oh,
no,
oh. Yeah, we gotta jump him. We can jump him right now. I don't care.
I don't even like him, but whatever.
We don't either. You feel me?
But what I will say is my ex-husband is his dad. You know what I'm saying? We got together when he was 3 months or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So that's his dad. That's all he knows. His family, he's X out of the equation. He's dad by blood, but my ex-husband is his father. I will, give that to him. That's his dad.
Right, right. Salute. Salute to all the step pops, man.
Yeah.
I don't like mine, but yeah, they all right. But legacy. What do you want your grandchildren to say about Meemaw Shell?
That she was a woman that gave back. She was, strong, courageous, that she wanted to build her brand, and she was an exemplary leader. I want them to, to see what I've built, because everything that I've done was always for my family. None of this glory is for me. It's always been about family. I make money, money don't make me. So I make sure that I take care of my people. I got to. I got to. So I want them to know um that I'm building an empire for them, for my family.
I like that. I like that.
Yeah.
If you were a doctor or in a nurse, what would Rochelle be doing right now?
Whew, man. You know, I don't know. Maybe I thought about when I was maybe in primary school being a teacher, because I talk a lot. The teacher always say, you talk so much, Rachelle. I'm always getting in trouble for running my mouth. So
Right.
I actually thought about being a teacher. And honestly, I mean, that's what I'm doing now. So I'm an educator now and an instructor because I work part-time at a college. So if I was in healthcare, then strong possibility that I could have been a teacher.
So what's your guilty pleasure after a long shift? You drinking wine? You watching reality TV
I
shows? Good playlist? What we listen to?
am eating Reese's Pieces.
All right. All right. Crack, snap, and pop. That's what we eating on. Okay.
This that is my guilty pleasure. Now I will say, on Fridays is Wine Me Down. So Stella Rose on deck on
No, what?
Fridays.
What's flavor?
I like the blackberry. That's my favorite one. Um,
That's for the old folks. Never mind. Y'all go ahead. Y'all go ahead with that, big dog. I can't. You got me on that one. We good on that one. But finish the sentence. I'm chilling and vibing when
at home in front of my TV, looking at Netflix in my pajamas. Bam.
uh, people still wear pajamas. Crazy.
Yes.
You got a moo moo?
No, I don't got
What?
the moo. I done
No.
upgraded. No, I
Oh,
got a pajama set.
okay. I thought you got a moo moo. I'm
No,
like,
no,
well, no
I got a
meatball.
Victoria's Secret silky pajama set. So yeah, that's my thing.
All right. I thought she had a boo boo. Hey, your name me, mom. I'm thinking like you got, you feel me?
Doc, what advice would you give somebody, wanting to join the medical field and have a career in nursing?
You gotta be studious. You gotta stay in the books. Um, you gotta put time into it. Nothing is going to happen overnight. So even for myself, I failed a class or two. I mean, it didn't just happen just, overnight or from me having failures. So you got to be studious. You got to keep moving. You got to keep going. Even if you fail, that doesn't mean that you're a failure. You got to put in the footwork. It's going to be a lot of lost sleep, sleepless nights. You might be disoriented from staying up all night, a lot of coffee drinking, but you got to stay the course. So just put in that work. You gotta be motivated. You gotta keep yourself motivated. Even if you don't got no cheerleading team behind you, you gotta be your own cheerleader. So you gotta put it in.
Stand alone, replace the
Yeah.
many.
Yeah.
One more question. Yeah, and this is it right here. What's something you wish more people, especially Black and Brown communities, understand about the healthcare?
So what I will say, um, without saying biased about our healthcare system is um the healthcare system has both pros and cons. I will say that here lately they make it inequitable for people to get the care that they deserve and they need. So what I've been telling my patients is if you can afford health care, it is absolutely a good idea. Absolutely. Because it's some things that, you just, it's unforeseen. You won't be able to, see in the future to see if this illness happens, this condition happens. But the persons that I really take care of at my practice, I tell them if you don't have health insurance, you just need to reach out. It's because there's so many providers in the community like myself that offer services based on like a sliding scale or offer you services at a reduced cost, right? So you have to really take the initiative to find those care providers because right now, I'll be honest, paying those premiums and those deductibles for our services, it's a waste of time. Like I said, if you are somebody that has a lot of chronic conditions or illnesses, yeah, it is absolutely beneficial for you. But for persons that are in good health, you're paying a lot of money and you're not getting the care or the quality of services that you need for what you're paying.
Right.
But Dr. Rochelle, we appreciate you for coming to Chill and Vibe. But before we go, let everybody know what we doing.
We chilling and vibing.
Me,
Appreciate
mom.
you, Doc. Appreciate you, Doc.
Thank
And happy
y'all.
Nurse Week. Happy Nurse Week.
Appreciate you.